Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is supposed to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or PO. So welcome to my channel. If you're new here, this is a place to be for education about asexuality. I cover everything on the asexual spectrum. I talk about dating, relationships, improving your asexual life, personal development, self-development, and so much more. So if that sounds like something you'd be really interested in knowing more about, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can join in chat on my live streams, and I also do shorts videos as well. So today I wanted to talk to you about why it's so hard to find a romantic relationship when you're asexual. This is something that came up in one of my asexual groups recently, and so I thought I would answer it for you here. First of all, if you didn't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories book. So if you haven't got your copy yet, please do go and grab a copy from Amazon now, especially if you're new to asexuality or don't fully understand the asexual spectrum and you're fed up of just reading textbook definitions and you want to see how asexuality actually is in real life context. This is a book for you. I'm also the author of Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. This is autobiographical from me. It's how to have less pain, more energy and happiness in your life. It's told from a superhero point of view, so it's a really good read. So grab a copy of that. If you've got fibromyalgia, obviously it's even more beneficial, but it's great if you've got depression, anxiety, just want more happiness in your life. So that's also available on Amazon. So yes, why is it so hard to find a romantic relationship when you're asexual? So there are a number of reasons for this. One is, in the asexual community, there tends to be a lot more aromantic asexuals, so those that lack romantic attraction and sexual attraction. So obviously if there's more people that aren't romantic, then it lowers the chances of finding someone for a romantic relationship because there are less people being romantically inclined, right? So that straight away cuts down your options. Also, you know, it depends what type of romantic asexual you are, as in, are you a homoromantic, are you a heteromantic, panromantic, biromantic? Because I don't know the percentages of all those different romantic types, but obviously that's kind of a niche within a niche, a certain type of romance, a certain type of person you're attracted to or gender that you're attracted to, right? So that obviously impacts it as well. And then within the asexual community, we have lots of different people on the romantic spectrum, ranging from those who are a little romantic to those who are hugely romantic. I fall into the extreme romance category. And so, you know, we've got variations in romance. And what someone might find romantic, another person might not so much. And so the idea of romance can vary from person to person. Some people might just think having a coffee with someone you really care about and adore is really romantic. Another person might think an outdoor picnic's really romantic. Another person might think they just literally want to declare their undying love for that person and write a huge long poem to that person. Another person might want to serenade that person. Romance is subjective to how it feels to you, what you find romantic, and also towards the other person. But there are certain things that are, as society would see them romantic, but as a hyper romantic myself, I can find a gnome romantic. I can find lots of strange things romantic that most other people wouldn't find. Like, I love it if a guy talks to me about coding websites. I get very asexually turned on by that. I want to kiss him more. So if any guy is Indian, because that's my preference, or at least foreign, younger foreign guys, and he can code, that really kind of like makes me want to him usually, if I'm asexually attracted to him as well. I am digressing a bit here, but I'm trying to explain that we've all got different needs, wants, likes, dislikes. We've all got different ideas, or maybe some similar ideas to what romantic attraction might be. But, you know, it can be subjective. Some people who are romantic, they just want little kisses. Some people want a lot of kisses. Some people are not into kissing at all. And so you've got variations in kissing. needs. And then you've also got geographical situation, right? Like, I am absolutely fed up with the fact that I'm getting guys abroad interested in me. I think it's nice. I'm not fed up with the fact in the sense that it's actually younger foreign guys who I do find attractive, but I'm just getting fed up with the fact that, you know, it's all these type of guys that, you know, they just want something online or in their fantasy. It's not the reality, you know. It's like, I want something raw and real, a proper relationship, you know, where you have to work together to build something special day in, day out, and you're talking and communicating with each other, you're being best friends, you're finding out how to grow as an individual and together in the relationship, you're growing as a couple, you know, someone who's very much prepared to work on an actual real relationship, you know. And I find that, you know, within the asexual community, that's very difficult to find. You know, I do have asexual foreign guys interested in me, but they all live abroad. And, you know, the guys that I'm interested in a lot of the time, their culture's very different to mine, you know. And I'm sure that if you are an asexual in one part of the world, you know, your lifestyle is going to be very different. You're still going to have different cultural differences, usually different lifestyle differences, time differences as well, if you're talking about online relationships or online dating. And so, you know, just those things that all make it harder to find someone for a suitable romantic relationship, you know. I mean, I've had a couple of both Indian guys from India actually interested in a relationship with me in the last 48 hours, you know, expressing that, right? One of them, you know, I get on well with, but, you know, we want completely different things. The other one I hadn't heard from for a month, and all of a sudden he started messaging me loads on Sunday, and then it's like, oh, I'll speak to you tomorrow, and never even bothered to message me, you know. And that is pretty poor. Do you know what I mean? So considering he was messaging me for hours and voice noting me before, you know, but I couldn't see his profile picture and he hadn't friended me, and those are huge red flags for me. He had a reason why, but, you know, the fact that he said, I'll speak to you tomorrow, and still hasn't actually done that is like not keeping his word. I don't like that. It's kind of like, well, how can you trust someone who can't even get the basics right, you know? And so I have some stuff in common with him, but, you know, there it is. And so, you know, I'm fed up of people wanting online stuff, you know. I don't want an online relationship. I don't know how many more times I have to say it, you know. And when you talk to a guy and he's like acting like he's really interested in you, but then he's talking about having a like separate life without you, like everything he's planning for his future, and it's like moving to a certain place. It's like, well, clearly you're not actually looking for a relationship, because if you were, you would be thinking about how you could make that happen, not be thinking about moving elsewhere, if you know what I mean. So, you know, they just don't add up, a lot of these people's words. And I do find it's a big thing in the asexual community, where you know, geographically we're so spread out, and a lot of people obviously are still not admitting they're asexual, or still don't know they're asexual. So there's a lot of people in the world that probably are asexual, but because there's a lack of knowledge about asexuality, there's so many people like living probably in fear of ridicule, probably ashamed or feeling left out and lonely. They don't understand why. And, you know, because they don't know they're asexual, you know. I mean, there's bound to be some asexual people in my city, but I don't know many of them, you know. The only people I know, well, I know one guy, and he's definitely not suitable for a relationship with me. And then I know a few people like spread out across the country, but, you know, like none of those that I've met are suitable for me, and none of them that spoke to me are. So, you know, it's very difficult. You know, for me personally, I don't want sex, I don't want marriage, I don't want kids, I don't want to live together, and, you know, I don't want to cook or clean for a guy either. And so, you know, a lot of guys that I'm interested in, their culture is very traditional, like women in the house, you know, and woman cooks for man, and woman be's a housewife for man, and just not who I am. And so, you know, that although I'm talking about myself here in this instance, you know, there's going to be cultural differences with yourselves as well. You know, if you are interested in someone abroad, even the difference between American and UK, there's still differences there, right? Because America, they have to pay for health insurance. UK, we've got NHS, UK, when you're in a relationship, you're in a relationship. Some parts of America, you're dating, even though you're in a relationship. Dating is in the UK, you date before you get into a relationship. Dating's not as serious as a relationship. But, I've heard people from America say about dating, as in they're dating, as in they're in a relationship. So, some of the terminology is different as well. Lifestyle's different, so all these things add up, to being very kind of like incoherent with what you want. And obviously, it's hard to find a romantic relationship when you're asexual, because, the world at large is predominantly heterosexual still. And so therefore, most people who are in the world, most of the population are still expecting romance to be a prequel to sex. So they expect the romance first and it to lead to sex. Right. And then that's really difficult to find an asexual relationship, or someone for an asexual relationship, someone for a no sex relationship, because, they ultimately think that every time they kiss or be romantic, it's a lead up to sex. And if you don't want sex ever, then it's kind of like they don't want just the romance. They want it to lead to that. And so that obviously is a mismatch as well. There's quite a lot of people in asexual groups and dating groups, but none of them, or quite a high percentage of them do not even post in the groups. They're always talking about looking externally for partners. Like, I can't find my partner. And I'm thinking, well, if you posted more in this group, about what your needs are, likes, wants, and dislikes, what you're looking for in a relationship, then, you might actually find someone suitable. But instead of looking internally in the groups, they're looking externally all the time. I haven't found, though, the right guy for me in any of my groups. And then there's the tragedies, there's the people that you could have had a really good relationship with if they were in your country, for example, if the timing was better, if they didn't throw something beautiful away and created something horrible with it, if they were honest with you, which if they weren't, if they didn't lie, and all these type of things, So once trust is broke, it's very difficult to get it back. Most people can't get it back, and it's broken, and you have to split, And so I think in the asexual community, there's kind of a lack of people being grateful for what's in front of them. That there's such a lack of gratitude some of the time for the person in front of them. I've come across guys who are, who I'm really looking for a relationship, but when it really comes to it and they've got a beautiful person in front of them, I'm not just talking about myself, I'm talking about, I know a situation, you've got a beautiful person in front of you who really adores you, but yet you take them for granted, you can't be bothered. You know what I mean? It's just like, if you can't see what's in front of your nose, don't even bother going there. It's like, why waste time looking for a relationship if you're not even going to appreciate a relationship when it comes into your life? Right? It's just pointless. And so many people I find are like that, They say they're looking for a relationship, but when it comes to actually one possibly appearing, they're not ready for it and don't take it for granted. And I think it's sad, because there's some people I come across who've been bullied, made fun of, not been treated very well. And then instead of them learning from that and thinking, my God, that's the type of person I do not want to be, they then start laughing and mocking other people. And like, they want you to feel sorry for them that they've been bullied and harassed and stuff. I've come across this. I've been really feeling bad for them, and then they'll say stuff and start laughing at my expense. And I'm like, hang on a minute. You said you don't like to be bullied, made fun of, yet you're basically making fun of me. It's horrible. And so, there's double standards, isn't there? Which isn't very good. I find that, there are a percentage of asexuals that flirt as well. And so they're more interested in having multiple people on the go at once than actually truly knuckling down to the person that would be really good for them. They're too busy flirting with multiple people. So they've not no direction and focus. And, and people haven't really thought about what they really seriously want in a relationship. They haven't written out a plan in a journal and said, this is what my ideal person would look like. You're never going to get a perfect person for you, right? No one's ever going to be exactly how you want them to be. But, you know, you need to write down everything about your ideal person for it to even possibly come true. You know, have an idea of the type of person you want, you know. And I personally feel that I have not met someone who would really appreciate me and be kind and caring to me and loving and never put me down and stuff. I've just started recently watching a YouTube channel called The Brazilian Couple, and they do dancing together. But they talk about a lot to do with their relationship as well. And they were saying about 8 things that make a good relationship. And one of them was, you know, the other person never puts me down, you know? And that's so important. You know, you should be lifting each other up. If you're not in a relationship where the other person's lifting you up and making you feel supported and happy, you're in the wrong relationship, right? And so, yeah, I think it's very difficult for asexuals to find a romantic relationship for all of these reasons I've listed. I guess there's so many more as well, you know, but we mustn't give up hope. We must think that our person is out there somewhere. And when we find them, we need to cherish them and not take them for granted and appreciate them, you know, and value that person, you know. Like I work in extremes in my mind a lot of the time. I'm like, okay, so if it's your last day on earth tomorrow, you know, what would you be grateful for right now? You know, for the friends in your life, for the love and support you've got of your friends and family, you know, and you'd be grateful for the person who loves you, who's been there through thick and thin with you, who wants to make a life with you and is making a life with you, surely, you know. But when I see people say they want a relationship, it's like, well, okay, what does that look like on a daily basis? How would that work? You know, and so that's really hard. You know, I personally find myself having trouble finding a right romantic guy for a relationship, you know. I unfortunately, you know, have had a lot of heartbreak in the last year over that, and you know, it's not good, but you know, you need to move on. But I want everyone in the asexual community to find that part, you know, it's so important. But you know, there's also things like lying as well. You know, I can't abide by lying. Like I said, that's trust again. Someone's broke your trust. In terms of just trying to find someone's compatible, a lot of it is like relationship needs, wants, likes, dislikes, things in common. You know, these are all factors that you know matter. And a lot of asexuals I find aren't proactive enough. So they'll wait for someone to come and approach them instead of approaching the other person, you know? And that's, you know, a mismatch of needs or a mismatch of what people are actually looking for in relationships, you know? Because, you know, like one of the Indian guys that was interested in me recently, one's really into kissing, the other's completely opposite and not into kissing, you know? And one of them's into older girl, the other one's not usually, but then they said they are. But you know, a lot of the time the other person was just saying things to what I wanted to hear, you know. They weren't really, because I'll say like I'm not into kissing, then I'll like, well, I'm into kissing, so that's no good. And they were like, oh well, I'm into kissing then, you know what I mean? It's just like saying what you want to hear. So you know, anyway, I don't think either of them are going to be suitable for me anyway. So you know, I think there's a lot of people that are unhealthy as well in some ways, and they need to get some help and support and understand that you can have a lot of childhood issues in your life. You just need to work through them, on them, and do something about it. You know, we've all got issues going on, and it's important to take action on those and resolve them. If we're too scared to do things because of our past, that can also hold us back, you know, because we might be scared from past relationships being hurt and think, I can't open my heart again to love. You know, like the guy that was messaging me for ages. It's lucky I can be detached a lot of the time from guys now. I can detach much more easily because he was just like really interested in me for hours. Like I was with my parents and so I'm gonna have to go because I need to spend time with my parents and Angel, right? But he was just messaging me for ages, like so keen. But I've had this before with guys, they act so keen, and then the next breath they're like not even talking to you. And so, you know, I just kind of know the drill, and I'm very suspicious and wary of these type of guys. And I gave him a try, you know, a chance, but you know, it's just like not good. But because I can detach now, it's so much better, because I'm just like, I recognize these patterns of behavior, and I'm just like, okay, I'll be like this in the moment, but afterwards, But I just very much need to focus on my career now, because I can't have the type of relationship I want at the moment, because I can't find the guy who's suitable for me. And I'm happier as a single unit and more confident, so I really need to pursue that. And that's what I'd say. If you're asexual, if you're struggling to find a romantic relationship, you need to draw out in a journal exactly what type of relationship you want on a day-to-day basis. Like, what would your relationship look like? Your ideal relationship? Like, what would your ideal person look like? The hair, the facial expressions, the physique, gender, if that's important to you, looks, if that's important to you, personality. Like, write down, like, do some sketching and write down your ideal person. And then, think about, okay, if I was in a relationship with my ideal person, like, how would it work? Like, where would we live? Would we live together or separately? Would we get married or not? Would we have kids or not? Would we have sex or not? And what percentage of our hobbies would we share? And what percentage will we keep for ourselves? And just to maybe share some with family, friends, or otherwise be on our own. How would the jobs work? Because if they are working weekends, for example, and you're working during the week, that's going to be really hard to work it out. And you can't say, oh, well, I'm working in the week, so I'm going to talk to you just at weekends, if they're working at weekends. You have to work something out. Whereas maybe you might work in the week, but you still spend 1 or 2 nights video chatting with them after you work, right? And they spend one of their weekend evenings talking to you in video chat. You have to compromise. You have to think about both sides. You can't just say, oh, right, well, I'm doing this work, I'm doing this study, I'm doing blah, blah, blah. This is where I am. And that be it, and expect the other person to fold into you and do what you want. You need to even it out, so you've both got opportunity of spending time on your own, time with your friends, time with your family, time studying if you're doing studying, but you're also having ample time to see your partner as well. And some nights you're going to be probably tired after work, but you still need to spend time with them, and vice versa, And so, a lot of people have past issues that holds people back. Many people are afraid to get hurt, and it's difficult. It's really difficult. There's a lack of asexual dating sites with people actually on it that want relationships. Most of the people I come across are just looking for friendships a lot of the time. They're not really looking for a serious relationship. So that's really difficult, But I never give up hope. I still think there's a chance that I could find the love of my life and build something beautiful, and I don't think you should give up hope. I've stopped actively pursuing that. Even though I've got guys interested in me anyway. But I've stopped actively going after guys in the romantic sense. But I'm still open to love, and maybe one day I'll find true love with a guy who is kind, caring, loving, sharing, giving, honest, supportive, and all the I could ever wish for more. And that's what I wish for you. I wish for you to be so happy. I wish for you to find a beautiful person for you. And every day you wake up thinking, God, I'm so happy to be with this person. I love this person to bits. And you tell that person how wonderful and amazing they are. And they say that back to you. Because that's what a loving relationship should be like. It shouldn't be a battle or a fight. It should be loving and caring and beautiful, and you just feel wonderful being in that person's presence, and vice versa. That's how love should be, true love. But a lot of people these days don't even know what true love is. They play mind games, and it's just not good. But there are genuine people out there. You just need to find the right one or ones for you, right? Never give up hope. Okay, never give up hope. Have love in your heart always, and one day true love will find you. I believe that. Anyway, hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it an emoji, give it a thumbs up, comment below. Love to know what you think. And as always, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. Lots of love. Mwah.